Okay, I'm trying something different. I thought I'd try and do like this kind of podcast thing about how like different what if scenarios. So I've decided to do for this one is how like I would survive in like the 2004 version of Dawn of the Dead, to see if I would change anything. But I will be putting myself in the shoes of one of the main characters. It'd still be me, but say for this one, like I'll start myself off as say the nurse's boyfriend, who reading off this I found out is called Luis. So I could probably put myself in the shoes of Luis, or any of the other type of characters. So I will like say maybe put like a death counter on the screen about how many times I believe that I might die in this. So Dawn of the Dead 2004 is obviously created by Zack Snyder. I chose this one instead of the original Dawn of the Dead because the original Dawn of the Dead is actually really hard to come by. I think the only way of me actually getting hold of it is by actually buying either the DVD. I don't think it's available for a Google video or anything. It might be, but I'm unsure about that. So for this one, I'm doing the 2000 version, Dawn of the Dead, because with that one, it's more commercially available. It's available for, at least for me in the UK, available on Netflix. So for this, this movie is created by Zack Snyder, and it was originally based off the um, original movie made by George A. Romero, who obviously made the original Dawn of the Dead not long after he made Night of the Living Dead. But okay, so starting off at the in the start of the movie, you obviously have the partner Luis go and approach that zombie girl. So for me, I would probably do exactly the same because in this universe, obviously, zombie films don't exist. They wouldn't know what this type of creature is. But for me, I would see this girl in front of me, bleeding, probably from the mouth. Um, she would most likely be a neighbor, judging by his reaction, or even if it's just a little girl in general. Like I would probably still approach them, see if they're okay. So that would be probably the first step for me, would be approaching this girl, because immediately I would be bitten by this girl and then eventually die and reanimate as like the zombie version of myself. But if I rewind a second there, I'd probably to avoid and to hopefully make this video a little bit longer. For that, I would probably just not approach the girl. I would just ask if she's okay from afar. Um, I would most likely get a little bit closer, but then as soon as she starts to get aggressive, I'd push her back immediately. Like the girl would be obviously agitated, and I'd be scared because this girl's just come up and tried to attack me, and she would continue probably to try and attack me. I would continue. I'd probably restrain them, see if I can get like try and stop them. If that all fails, then I would probably escape with the nurse, who is obviously, if I was Luis, it would be they'd be my partner. But if it's just me by myself, I wouldn't have anyone in the house with me. Um, I'd probably have my doors locked first things of all. I don't know how that girl got in. Um, as I said, I still don't know how this kind of layout thing would work, but this girl just comes out of nowhere. I don't know if they had their doors locked, had their windows locked, had like the inside locked, but if it was me, I always make sure to lock my doors before I go to sleep, because you never know when someone might break in and try to steal stuff from you. And I know quite a few people from where I used to live who used to get broken into and had stuff stolen from them. So I'd probably have my door locked. I'd have all my curtains drawn so I wouldn't know if all of this stuff is kicking off outside. I'm also quite a deep sleeper as well. So for that, I'd sleep through the first initial bit of the outbreak. I don't know if as soon as I hear an explosion or something, I would wake up. Obviously, I don't know, because it's not often you hear an explosion or screaming or anything. So I don't know if I'd immediately wake up after hearing an explosion. But let's say for this event, I do wake up. So I wake up, I go and open my curtains, I see all the chaos going on outside. And then I'd either lock myself inside the house, or I would try and locate family, things like that. But in this case, I know that my family's quite far, so because I'm in the United States, because in this scenario, I'd at least put myself in the location of where it's based. So I'm in the United States. I see like the neighbors and stuff coming outside and attacking all of these type of people. I would go outside. I wouldn't have a car, unfortunately, um, but either I would just run, and the adrenaline of the run would probably keep me going, or I would go inside of a car and try to get it going, because I, at least from the practice that I did when I was younger to try and get a driving license, I'd probably get that driving license, or not get that driving license, would go inside the car, start the car, and then start driving off, or at least try to drive off, because all of these people are fighting and all that kind of stuff all around me. I'd be panicking. I'd have no idea what's going on. I'd think a riot might be happening, but I wouldn't start running around. If I'm seeing people attacking people, I'd probably go into like a safe area. I'd probably go, as I said, either back inside my house, or to continue this story onward, I'd probably just um, like go in a car and try to drive off. So either, like, if I went inside the house, that would probably be the second potential death. I don't know how long it would take the zombies to get in. Obviously, my house wouldn't be very protected. Door, yeah, as much as even it locked, probably eventually the zombies would break through either the door or the windows, and I'd probably die. The second one is try driving off. Obviously, as I said, I don't know how to drive, so I'd either crash, or say I'd just continue driving. So for this, I'd just try and continue driving, and either I'd have that scenario with the nurse in the movie where someone tries to pull me out. For me, I would, because I've seen all this chaos going around me. I probably wouldn't stop. I'd probably continue going. So I wouldn't have like that whole thing with the guy trying to drag the nurse out of the car. Um, Either, like, if I did stop, it'd either be because I stalled the car because I don't know how to drive, or um, like I'm still groggy from waking up, because if you're a deep sleeper, sometimes you're really groggy when you wake up. So I might still be kind of groggy, but I'm assuming the adrenaline would keep me going. If someone tried to drag me out, I'd probably punch them in the face and then immediately shut my door, or I just have my doors locked. Like, I don't know why that lady didn't have a door locked, but I would say for this, like, my doors are locked, and um, like, I'd get out, or not get out. I'd just continue driving. But let's say for this, like, I continue I continue down the same route of, like, say you would in the outbreak. So for this, I believe the lady gets out of the car, begins driving off. Not begin driving off, but she gets out of the car after she crashes from that guy earlier um, who tried to pull her out. Like the guy who pulled her out caused her to crash because she's distracted, or like her eyes are blurry or something due to the fact that she's still. Or for me, I just hadn't long woken up. I might have crashed and survived the crash like she did, and got out and just encountered the police officer, and then the police officer obviously um, brings me to meet the guys who's there, and and the person with the gun, and the wife. So I'd obviously, for this guy, I'd probably, not for this guy, but for the lady, I'd probably check if she's okay. She's pregnant, so checking if that lady's okay. Um, and for me, I obviously wouldn't know about the bites yet. Like the bites can cause infection and all that kind of stuff, because for me, I'd be living alone. I wouldn't have encountered that zombie first thing. That my partner wouldn't have been bitten or anything like that. So I'd be living by myself. So no person would be bitten, and I'd most likely just escape, and not know about biting and all that kind of stuff. But this guy, like the police officer, I believe, said, no, I don't think he knows about bites. But so after I encounter all these people, going off to the like to the mall, and then eventually going inside the mall, which surprisingly is pretty empty. There's hardly any zombies there. So they like everyone decides to break up and go and explore and find things to do and stuff like that. First things first, probably wouldn't want to split up. I'd want to at least be with someone, because having the thing happen where we split up isn't a very good idea in my eyes. Like, they have all of these weird things that are biting us, or people that are biting us for no reason, and don't know if they're inside first, don't know if they're inside the mall. So the mall isn't clear. Yes, it looks like it's empty, but it probably wouldn't be clear. So I'd have one person with me just to make sure if I do encounter a zombie or the creatures, then like I have someone who can protect me, or the opposite, like I can protect this other person. I wouldn't know how to use a gun, so probably the thing I'd immediately go for, as I believe the guy did. So first, we probably would all introduce ourselves. I'd get to know these people. I would find out that the police officer who found me is called Kenneth, and I would introduce myself to Kenneth. I would introduce myself to Andre and his wife. Oh god, I'm trying to remember the people's names now. So, oh god, my brain's gone kaput. So yeah, it's the guy's name is called Andre, and he's got like the black guy with the gun's got called Andre, and he's with his heavily pregnant wife, Anna. Oh no, sorry, not Anna. Anna is the name of the nurse who would probably also be with us. If I'd replaced Anna, then I wouldn't have them with me, so it'd be, so I wouldn't have, so we might have Anna, we might not. We'd also have Kenneth, who's a police officer. I'm just reading this off like a Wikipedia page. Michael, who is an electronics salesman, and then Andre and Luda. That was her name. Luda is the pregnant wife. So Andre has a gun, but uh, having the gun pointed at us originally, like him being hostile. Yes, I get that he's got his wife, but I wouldn't want to be with someone who actively tries to point guns at me and all that kind of stuff without anything. But so I wouldn't probably go with Andre. I'd make sure that him and his wife stay together, make sure that they protect each other, because we don't know like if all of the stress and stuff might cause damage to Luda. So Andre and Luda will probably, I would probably want to have them stick with each other. Kenneth, I would suggest I would want him to go with me, but I don't know if he would want to stay with me. So either I go with Kenneth if he does agree to go with me because he has a gun. He's a police officer, so he has the firearm experience and all that kind of stuff. I could have him come with me and go to the shops and stuff, look for a weapon for us to use, so a bat or something. Or I go with Michael because he seems all right. Like he's a guy just like he's a guy just like me. He's he's obviously wanting to not be bitten and all that kind of stuff. Having someone else with me who is like prepared to do what's necessary and attack these zombies, or like I would be immediately standoffish with Anna. She's covered in blood. Like I don't know if that's her blood, someone else's blood, or like yeah, hers or someone else's blood. So I probably wouldn't have her with me because she's still covered in blood. Like I don't know if she is like an escape lunatic or something. She's in her pajamas, so like that's not immediately giving off a really good first impression. So yeah, so out of the group that we probably would have if I include Anna would be Michael and Kenneth. Those are the two people that I'd probably take with me. If Kenneth wants to stay with everyone, make sure that they're safe and all that kind of stuff because he's a police officer, I wouldn't stand it. I wouldn't hold it against him. So I'd have Michael or Kenneth come with me. If Kenneth decides to stay, obviously it's Michael. And yeah, so I go with Michael or Kenneth goes inside the mall, check if there's any weapons. Obviously, make noises to make sure that there's no one in anywhere. So like in the door of the like near the door of the shops, I could just shout and go, "Hey, is anyone in there?" And if anyone responds, or if a zombie comes running out, or those creatures come running out, then I at least know that there are things there. We can deal with those, hopefully effectively. Like if we have a weapon or something, we could use that weapon. But the immediate place I'd probably go would be a sports shop. See if there's a gun store inside of this mall. So that there might be. Like I know there are some malls in America which have gun stores, but from what I remember in this movie, the only gun store is across the road. So after looking around the mall for a gun store, probably wouldn't find anything. So we would go and go to like the sports shop, see that there's a zombie in there, and hopefully dispose of that zombie. Once that zombie's disposed of, we grab weapons. So like a bat, a hockey stick, any kind of blunt object that could be used. Preferably, I'd probably look for metal weapons because with wood, obviously, there's more chance of it breaking apart. Yes, that say we can make spears and stuff with the wooden weapons, we could probably do that. But I'd probably immediately try and grab a metal baseball bat or something. And yeah, then once we looked around the store, like I check if everyone's okay, and then like everyone decides to go upstairs. I wouldn't argue because we've searched all of downstairs. There's an upstairs bit which we don't know what's up there. There could be more zombies and stuff. So, like, I don't get why everyone goes into an elevator. Like from what I remember in elevators, they are like there's motion sensors and stuff. So if those crazy people who are biting us, like if they start charging towards us, going in an elevator isn't a very good idea, because then we can immediately get pushed back and stuff from these. But like I've got my brain going a million miles per second, um, and I'd probably be outvoted, and then we all go up this elevator. But probably like the pregnant lady, I get why she wouldn't want to go up on the stairs and stuff. So, but okay, we go up in this elevator, and then we encounter three security guards who immediately start pulling out weapons on us. They say that they want our weapons. Probably all we have. Yeah, I think Kenneth has a shotgun, so I would also say that this guy is obviously a police officer. Your security guard shouldn't be working alongside the police officer. But yeah, that happens. I don't. If I remember, I don't know if Kenneth gives the weapons to the security guards or not. But if he does, if he does, then we can avoid this whole conflict. But if he doesn't, then again, I'd try and convince them that it's better if we stick together. This place looks well protected. We're on the second floor, so we're less likely to be spotted if, like, say, people start coming in the ground floor. I would introduce myself, do all this kind of stuff, and yeah, then I ask if it's possible if we can look upstairs as well. We might find food, we might find more weapons. I'd also ask if there's obviously a gun store. It's always good to have a gun store. I obviously don't know how to use guns, but we have Kenneth or these guys which look like they kind of know how to use guns. So if like we need guns for protection, I'd probably ask these guys to help train us and stuff like that. I'd also make sure if there's an area where we can like put have the pregnant lady Luda, we can have Luda like go if she needs to give birth or something. I'd also ask if any of them know medical expertise, which I would. If we have Anna with us, then obviously we have a trained nurse, so that's perfect. So after all that, and if they say no about looking around, I'm not going to push it. These guys have guns. They've probably taken our guns because I don't see Kenneth wanting to attack them and having our gun like just to make them aggressive. They could shoot us, could kill us. So they have our weapons. I wouldn't argue like if they say, oh no, you can't look around, and then they would take us up to the roof. There we would see like all these explosions and stuff all happening around us. And like we would see like there's a guy across there, across the road there. I'd see like it looks like a gun store. So like we find that guy over there. I'd try and get his attention, and then the truck comes in with everyone. Like for me, I would be scared because there are people coming with like this huge truck coming charging in, banging into stuff and all that kind of banging into zombies. But from what I remember in the movie is that everyone grabs the weapons of security guards, and immediately goes to like help those people down there. I would probably go with them with like the bat I have, like the metal bat I have. When we're down there, we would see that there's there's this big lady who's come in. She looks really, really sick. That would immediately put me on guard. Like this lady's bitten, or not bitten, but she's infected. She might be one of those crazy people out there. There's also like there's her partner and stuff as well. And then there's an old lady with like her kids and a guy, I think. So with all of those people, we're getting more people into here. That means more people to feed, but it also means that we have numbers. The lady who's bitten or looks sick, I would ask to be put somewhere. If the husband, who I believe was also bitten in the movie, but if the husband declines to have this person put in, I'd say, she's sick. If you want to stay with her, you can. We don't know how this works, so it's probably not a good idea to have her in with everyone else, because if she turns out to be one of those crazy people, then she could just get up and attack us and possibly bite people, possibly do this and all that kind of stuff. So so having that lady put into somewhere with her partner possibly as well, as or say we'll put someone with a weapon just in case she does come up and start to attack us. If that person with the weapon is okay, then we won't have to worry about it. We also find out that possibly like how she got infected, finding out through that bites infect people. So that would I think it's bites and scratches as well. Like bites and scratches infect people, so we would find out about that. And the fact that we can't have people be bitten or scratched. And if they're bitten or scratched, then that's it. They're infected and they're probably dead. So we find out about that. So the big lady's dead. Her husband, the guy, I believe, was also bitten, so it probably need to put him in isolation or keep him in isolation, so then he dies as well. So he would reanimate as well, and then he'd need to be put down. After all of that, I would probably say, okay, we need to check if anyone's got bites. We need to check if anyone's got scratches. If no one's got bites or scratches, then there's the possibility that these people won't get like infected, or we make sure that we're protected. So there's the sports store downstairs where I got the bat. I'd probably go down there, look for anything for like padding and stuff to put under my clothing or put over my clothing, make sure that I won't get bitten or scratched when I'm out. Like if a zombie comes knocking or comes charging in, then if they try to bite me, then I could use the padding on my that I have. Would also say we probably need to make sure that everything is safe. Check basements, check the stairwells, check anywhere where there might be more zombies, because we don't know where all of these things are, what's going on, and how long we need to stay here. So I also find out that the security guards have security cameras. That's perfect. That's an easy way of us like finding out where we need to protect, or if there's anyone who's broken in that isn't part of our group, or is like hostile, zombies, all that kind of stuff. We've got all of these security cameras, which is fantastic. We've got protection, and it makes it easier for us to have security of the entire mall. So I'd probably go down into the basement, make sure that there aren't any zombies there. It'd probably deal with a couple of zombies down there. There might be the zombie with no legs, which was hanging on the roof, or he might not be there yet. The group stayed there for quite some time in the original, so it is possible that person came down and died down there and turned into a zombie, or something else happened. But if that zombie is there, we might lose someone. We might lose one of the security guards. We might I might die, so that's another potential death on my part. But we've got to make sure that this place is safe and protected. And when I find out that there's obviously a generator down there, something which would probably power this entire mall, it probably is a good idea to keep that protected in the first place. So if no one says no, then I'd probably point that out, say this is our only way of making sure that all of this stuff is safe, all of it is okay. So that's there. So we've got the basement protected. Luckily, with the electricity still on as well, there might still be lights downstairs, so we won't need to worry about it being darkness. So, as I said, we might lose people down there, we might not. With the padding that I suggested that we wear from the sports shop, then we might also have that to use as like a protection to make sure that if we are bitten, then it won't go through and actually bite us, or it can protect us from these bites or scratches. Once all of those zombies are dealt with, downstairs is protected, making sure that we at least have a couple of people posted down there just in case something happens with the generator. Make sure that everything's up and running. See if anyone knows any maintenance or anything. Make sure that this is maintained. So that's the basement sorted out. Stairwells and other things, probably would make sure that they are blocked off. Well, no, actually, no, that's probably a bad idea. Make sure that that's protected as well. Make sure there's always one person posted there on guard duty, just in case the zombie breaks in. I would also say not to use the lifts. That's a bad idea. Also, make sure that all of the exits and stuff are protected. Make sure we always have a couple of people posted there. So we have, say, 2 people in the basement. That's 2 people in the basement. Probably would also instead like ask the people who know how to use guns if they could teach us how to use guns and all that kind of stuff. So there's that. But there's that guy across the road and the mall, the guy with the gun store. Fantastic. There's guns across the road. We should probably make sure that that guy's okay. Make sure we grab as many guns as possible. We have that massive truck, like, which all of these people arrived in. We could probably outfit that, get it over to the other side, make sure that this guy's safe, and ask him if we can have his guns. I'm sure if we explain that the mall's safe, like, you won't have to worry about it just being you here. We'll have people to protect you. You could probably sleep and all that kind of stuff. So we can probably move the guy who is called Andy, I believe. We can move him, take all the guns out of his gun store, or try and take as many guns as possible out, as much ammo as possible out, put it inside this truck, and then drive the truck over to the mall and, say, park it in the basement or something. So that truck's now parked in the basement with all our guns, all our ammunition, and all that kind of stuff. We won't have to worry about Andy across the road. We have protection. We have all of this stuff. Now I'd probably instate a mandatory training to make sure that everyone knows how to use guns, in case we're overrun or in case we need more people to use guns. With this training, I'd also ask if there's the police officer and security guards. They both know how to use guns and how to use weapons effectively. So I would have them probably in charge of it. This is obviously all if I'm like, if I become like a de facto leader. I might not, but I'd make these suggestions and hopefully convince other people. So those people, we've learned how to use guns. We've learned how to use weapons. We've got 2 people guarding in the basement. So let me try and work this out. So we've got Andy, Kenneth, Luda, who's pregnant, so she's out anyway. So we got Kenneth, Andy, CJ, Bart. Then there's I don't know who were the infected people from the page that I'm reading. As I said, this is completely stupid. I don't know everyone's name, but we have Anna, who I'm just going to say now is probably part of the group. From what I said earlier, as I said, I could be in her thing, or not. But okay, so let me try and list them up again. So that's Anna. Then there's Kenneth, Andre, Luda, and then there's Michael. There's also CJ, Bart, and Terry, who are the security guards. And from the page, I don't know who's infected, but they're from on the Wikipedia page. It says that there's someone called Norma, Steve, Marcus, Tucker, Monica, Glenn, Frank, and Nicole. So okay, Frank is dead. So, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. We have 6 people from that group that arrived in the truck. We have Andy, that's 7, Kenneth, which is 8, CJ, Bart, and Alan. No, CJ, Bart, and Terry. So that will bring it up to like 10. And then we've got me, Kenneth, Ada, or Anna, sorry, Andre, Luda, and Michael. So that's like 16 people. So we can obviously have enough protection as possible inside this mall. Make sure all of these bits are guarded off. Make sure everyone's got training. We have plenty of training. We could go onto the roof and say shoot zombies and stuff. We got all of the stuff inside the mall as well for like recreational purposes. We have an SOS. We start painting SOS on the top because we don't know if the army are going to come. So the army, we see the chopper, the army happens, but they don't show up. So this mall might be our home for good. So what I would suggest is see if there's any farming stores inside here. There might be like a garden shop or something where they might have food seeds, things like that, and possibly bags of dirt. Grab, if there is a farming store in there, fantastic. I would ask if we could start using some of the roof where the SOS isn't plastered to like put farms and stuff up there, so we have a continuous source of food depending on how long we're staying there. We've also got the additional shops in the mall as well. Depending on how much food's there, then we've essentially got all of that food as well. Our generator's perfectly fine for now, so we've got all of those generators up and running. So just making sure all of this stuff is okay, making sure it's all safe. And yeah, so from the movie, so Luda gets scratched, so she becomes a zombie, but that only happens because of the big lady who we've had placed into somewhere, and she was put down after she reanimated, so we won't have the scratches happen to Luda. So Luda doesn't become infected. That whole thing with Andre and Luda and the zombie baby doesn't happen. So they're okay. We have a trained nurse here, so the pregnancy could probably go fine. And yeah, no one gets bitten, no one gets scratches. We don't leave because of all of that happening. We have a perfectly good place to stay. We've got as much protection as possible. The doors are holding fine. We can begin culling the zombies as much as possible. Andy's fine, so we don't need to leave to go and grab Andy because we got him earlier and all of the weapons earlier, so we have a perfectly good source of weapons. Okay, so most of the main impacts of the story, I wouldn't suggest leaving the mall. The mall seems like the perfect place for us to stay. And this might lead to the stuff that happened in the original Dawn of the Dead with the biker gang and all that. But because this is 2004, we don't know what happens afterwards. So yeah, there's that. But we've got this place here. It's protected. We'll have a continuous source of food. Once the majority of the zombies are gone, we can begin scavenging, possibly encounter more survivors, and begin making a community inside of this mall. So yeah, that's what would happen if I was in it. So from what I've listed off, I believe I have about 4 potential deaths. Could have died at the beginning. Could have died when we secured the generator. Could have died like when we say I went to go and grab Andy, and could have died afterwards. Like there could have been a zombie attack. But from what we have and all this protection we have, I believe that we could make this a continuous place for us to stay and live out as much as possible, possibly make a bigger group and make a community out of it. And all of these people that I encountered near the beginning, all alive, save for the big lady who was infected and the other guy who was bitten. Andy, who died in the original, won't die because now he's safe. He's with us. We've got a dog which had begun coming into the mall, and we have all of these people, about 16, 17 people with us. So all of these people are safe, and the mall is safe. So yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As I said, this is the first kind of experiment I've done. If this is too chaotic for you, let me know. I'm just trying to test out this new format and a new YouTube video, because I don't, things for scripted content for my like videos that I did a while ago has become like too hard for me. So this is more off the cuff, more podcasty type of thing. So if you guys enjoyed it, let me know. If there's anything that I need to improve, also let me know. I might, for like say the next video, add like a potential deaths counter in the corner. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And this has been Semroth signing out. Bye.